The forgotten signal. Captain Maya Rice stood at the viewport of the Artemis, Earth's most advanced deep space scientific vessel. The vastness of space stretched before her, stars scattered like diamond dust across the endless black. The ship had been mapping an uncharted sector for 3 months now, cataloging stellar phenomena and searching for potential habitable worlds. "Captain, I'm picking up something unusual," Lieutenant Kai Chen called from his station. His fingers danced across the holographic display, brow furrowed in concentration. Maya crossed the bridge with measured steps. "Define unusual, Lieutenant." "It's a signal, ma'am. Artificial. But it's old. Very old." He looked up, eyes wide with excitement. "Based on the degradation pattern, it's been traveling for nearly 70 Earth years." The bridge fell silent. 70 years. Whatever sent that message might not even exist anymore. "Can you clean it up? Translate it?" Maya asked, leaning over his console. "Working on it now," Kai replied. "It's using a basic mathematical sequence as its foundation. Universal language, in a way." Hours later, the crew gathered around the main holographic projector. The message had been deciphered. A desperate plea from a species calling themselves the Novalians. Their home system was under attack by a relentless enemy they called the Vorax. Millions already dead. Their civilization on the brink of extinction. "The message ends there," Kai said softly. No further transmissions were detected. Dr. Elara Johnson, the ship's xenobiologist, spoke up. "We have to investigate. This could be the first confirmed contact with an intelligent species in distress." "It's 70 years old," Commander Jackson argued. "They're probably all dead by now. And the Novalian system is 8 months of travel from here, even at maximum speed." Maya studied the translated message floating in the air before her. "What if they're not all dead?" she said quietly. "What if some survived, still fighting, still hiding, thinking no one heard their call?" She straightened. "Decision made. We're going to investigate. Prep a message to Earth Command. Send them everything we've found, and request permission to divert to the Novalian system." 3 days later, the response from Earth Command arrived. Maya read it twice, then smiled. "All hands," she announced shipwide. "Earth Command has not only approved our mission, but has called an emergency session of the United Earth Council." There, she paused, still hardly believing it herself. "They're assembling a response fleet." "A fleet?" Jackson's eyebrows shot up. "For a 70-year-old distress call." "The largest in human history," Maya confirmed. "We're to proceed to the Novalian system immediately to establish first contact and gather intelligence. The fleet will follow." As the Artemis changed course, Maya looked at the star map where a small blinking dot represented the origin of the signal. Humans had spent centuries looking to the stars, wondering if they were alone. Now they had their answer. And humanity's first major interstellar action wouldn't be conquest or colonization, but rescue. "Even if we're too late," she whispered to herself, "they'll know someone came." The journey took 8 months. 8 months of preparation, study, and speculation about what they might find, or not find, when they arrived. As they approached the Novalian system, the crew grew tense with anticipation. "Dropping out of FTL in 3, 2, 1, Pilot Ramirez announced. The view screen shifted as the Artemis returned to normal space. Before them lay a star system with 11 planets. The fourth from the sun showed signs of civilization, orbital structures glinting in the starlight. "Life signs?" Maya asked immediately. "Scanning," Kai responded, eyes fixed on his console. "Yes, we're detecting approximately 3 million life forms concentrated in those orbital habitats. The planet's surface shows minimal life and extensive environmental damage." A cheer went up from the bridge crew. Someone had survived. "Multiple vessels approaching," Security Chief Ortega warned. "Small, but armed." "Open all frequencies," Maya ordered. "Broadcast in the mathematical sequence they used in their message." She stood straight, adjusting her uniform. "This is Captain Maya Rise of the Earth vessel Artemis. We received your distress call. We've come to help." For a long moment, there was only silence. Then a voice responded, speaking in a language the ship's AI immediately began to translate. "This is not possible," the voice said. "The message was sent 70 cycles ago." "We know," Maya replied. "We came anyway." Another pause, longer this time. "Why?" the voice finally asked. "Why would you cross such vast distance for strangers?" Maya exchanged glances with her crew before answering. "Because that's what humans do." Within hours, Maya and a small delegation were shuttled to the largest Novelian habitat. The Novelians themselves were tall, with iridescent skin that shifted colors with their emotions, and 4 arms that moved with surprising grace. Their leader, Elder Terrace, had been a young commander when the distress signal was sent. "I never believed anyone would come," Elder Terrace said, emotion causing ripples of deep purple to flow across his skin, especially not after so many cycles. In a large council chamber, the Novelians explained their situation. The Vorax were not truly alive as humans understood life, a hive-minded synthetic species that consumed resources with ruthless efficiency. They had appeared in Novelian space without warning, attacking with overwhelming force. They do not negotiate. They do not take prisoners. They simply take, Elder Terrace explained, showing holographic images of the enemy. The Vorax resembled metallic insects, with multiple limbs and glowing sensor arrays instead of eyes. "We were not a warrior species," another Novelian counselor added. "We had small defense ships only. The Vorax destroyed our largest cities in the first attack. Our once beautiful world is now stripped of resources," Elder Terrace said. "We survive only in these orbital habitats, hiding, salvaging what we can." "Do the Vorax still come here?" Maya asked. "Yes. Their harvester ships return periodically to continue mining operations on the surface. Their main fleet controls several systems in this sector now. They will detect your presence soon." Maya nodded grimly. "Then we should prepare. Earth's fleet will arrive in approximately 3 weeks. Until then, we'll need to gather as much intelligence as possible." The Novelians looked at each other in disbelief. "You speak of a fleet?" Elder Terrace asked. "How many ships?" "Over 500, Maya replied. "Battleships, carriers, medical vessels, and supply ships. Earth has sent everything it can spare." A wave of blue-green astonishment rippled across the gathered Novelians. "Why?" Elder Terrace asked again. "Why would your people commit such resources for those they've never met?" Dr. Johnson stepped forward. "Do your people have stories? Legends about times of darkness?" The question seemed to catch the Novelians off guard. "We have an ancient tale," one of them finally said. "It speaks of star guardians who would appear when all hope was lost." "Perhaps it's time for some legends to come true," Maya said softly. As they continued discussions, a young human officer rushed into the chamber. "Captain, long-range scanners have detected ships entering the system. Matches the Vorax signature from the Novelian records." "How many?" Maya asked, already moving toward the exit. "Initial count shows 23 vessels. Harvester class." Elder Terrace's skin paled to a sickly white. "They're early. They weren't due for another cycle." Maya tapped her comm unit. "Artemis, this is Captain Reyes. Battle stations. Alert Earth Command that we've made contact with the Novelians and encountered the enemy. Request they expedite the fleet's arrival if possible." She turned to Elder Terrace. "Your people should take shelter. We'll handle this. Your single ship against 23 Vorax vessels." Elder Terrace's skin rippled with fear. "It's suicide." Maya's lips curved into a confident smile. "The Artemis may look like a scientific vessel, but she's got teeth. Trust me, Elder. This isn't our first fight." As Maya and her team returned to their ship, one Novelian counselor turned to Elder Terrace. "Do you believe they can defeat the Vorax?" "I don't know," Elder Terrace replied, watching the humans depart. "But for the first time in 70 cycles, I believe someone might." Aboard the Artemis, Captain Rice stood on the bridge as her crew prepared for battle. The ship's external scientific modules retracted, revealing weapon ports and defense systems that had remained hidden. "All hands, battle stations," Maya called out. "Weapons hot, shields at maximum. Deploy tactical drones." As the Vorax ships approached, the Artemis launched dozens of small, unmanned craft that quickly surrounded the much larger alien vessels. "They're scanning us," Kai reported, "trying to determine our capabilities." "Let's give them something to think about," Maya replied. "Tactical drones, initiate pattern alpha." The drones began emitting signals that mimicked the signatures of much larger warships, creating phantom readings on the Vorax sensors. Simultaneously, the Artemis fired precise electromagnetic pulses that disrupted the aliens' communications. "They're confused," Kai said. "Their formation is breaking apart." "Now hit them hard," Maya ordered. "Target their propulsion systems." The Artemis unleashed a barrage of energy weapons, striking with surprising precision. 3 Vorax ships immediately lost power, drifting helplessly in space. "The others are regrouping," Security Chief Ortega warned. "They're adapting to our tactics." "As expected," Maya nodded. "Implement countermeasures Beta through Delta. Keep them guessing." For hours, the lone Earth vessel danced around the Vorax ships, striking quickly and retreating, disrupting their communications and confusing their sensors. It wasn't enough to destroy the entire Vorax force, but it bought precious time and demonstrated human ingenuity. From their habitats, the Novalians watched in awe as a single ship held its own against a force that had nearly destroyed their civilization. And for the first time in 70 years, they felt something they had almost forgotten: hope. 3 weeks later, alarms sounded throughout the Novalian habitats. A massive energy surge had been detected at the edge of the system. Elder Terrace and the other Novalians feared the worst. The main Vorax fleet had arrived. But Captain Maya Reyes, who had continued to defend the system alongside the remaining Novalian defense forces, smiled as her communications officer reported the news. "Tell Elder Terrace and his people," she said, "that Earth has arrived. Humanity uvenleated." The massive energy signature at the edge of the Novalian system wasn't the Vorax. It was Earth's response fleet, dropping out of faster-than-light travel. 527 ships of varying sizes and purposes, from massive dreadnoughts to agile corvettes, arranged in perfect formation. The largest gathering of human military might ever assembled outside Sol system. Admiral Helena Zhao stood on the bridge of the EFS Everest, a Titan-class battleship that served as the fleet's flagship. The massive viewscreen showed the Novalian system, with its orbital habitats and the small Artemis maintaining a defensive position. "Status report," Admiral Zhao commanded. "All ships reporting ready, Admiral." Her XO, Commander Rodriguez, replied. "The Artemis has been transmitting tactical data on Vorax capabilities. Captain Rice reports that the Novalians have approximately 3 million survivors concentrated in those orbital structures." Zhao nodded. "And the enemy?" "Long-range scans confirm a Vorax presence in neighboring systems. The Artemis has been engaging small harvester groups, but intelligence suggests the main Vorax fleet is based around a star system designated Nova 117, approximately 2 light-years from here." "Then we don't have much time," Zhao said. "They'll detect our arrival soon enough. Deploy the fleet in defensive formation Alpha. I want the medical ships and supply vessels positioned near the Novalian habitats. Battle groups 1 through 6 will establish a defensive perimeter. Deploy sensor buoys at all potential entry points to the system." As the fleet moved into position, a transmission came in from the Artemis. Captain Rice appeared on screen, looking tired but determined. "Admiral, the Novalian leadership requests permission to come aboard the Everest. Elder Terrace wishes to extend his gratitude personally." "Permission granted," Zhao replied. I look forward to meeting them. Hours later, Elder Terrace and a delegation of Novalian leaders stood in the cavernous main hangar of the Everest, their iridescent skin shifting through patterns of blue and gold as they took in the sheer scale of the human vessel. Admiral Zhao greeted them formally, alongside Captain Reyes. On behalf of the United Earth Government, I welcome you, Zhao said. We regret that we couldn't arrive sooner. Elder Terrace's skin rippled with emotion. For 70 cycles, we believed we were alone in our struggle. That no one had heard our cry for help. That no one would come. His voice wavered. You have proven us wrong in the most magnificent way possible. We have much to discuss, Zhao replied. The Vorax threat extends beyond your system, and based on the intelligence Captain Rice has gathered, they will not stop with Novalia. In the Everest Strategic Command Center, human officers and Novalian leaders gathered around a large holographic display showing nearby star systems. The Vorax operate as a collective intelligence, Captain Rice explained. Their ships and units share information instantaneously. Once they encounter a new threat or tactic, they quickly adapt. Which is why they've been so effective against our people, Elder Terrace added. We could never evolve our strategies fast enough. Admiral Zhao nodded thoughtfully. Then we don't give them time to adapt. We hit them with everything, all at once, from directions they don't expect. She manipulated the holographic display, highlighting a star system 2 light-years away. Based on the intelligence we've gathered, this is their main fleet staging area. They've established processing facilities for the resources they've stripped from Novalian planets and others. You propose attacking their central base, a Novalian counselor asked, skin paling to white. Even with your impressive fleet, the Vorax outnumber you at least 3-1. Admiral Zhao smiled. Numbers aren't everything. Humanity learned that lesson centuries ago. Over the next days, the human fleet prepared while smaller scouting vessels gathered intelligence on Vorax movements. The Novalians, initially skeptical of humanity's chances, grew more optimistic as they observed Earth's military efficiency and technological prowess. On the 7th day after the fleet's arrival, long-range sensors detected a massive energy surge. The Vorax main fleet had mobilized and was headed directly for the Novalian system. They've detected us, Commander Rodriguez reported on the Everest's bridge. Estimated arrival in 6 hours. Admiral Zhao nodded calmly. Perfect. They're right on schedule. She opened a fleet-wide channel. All ships, this is Admiral Zhao. The enemy approaches. You know your assignments. Today we fight not only for the Novalian people, but for all sentient life that values freedom and self-determination. The Vorax believe organic life is inefficient and wasteful. Let's show them just how wrong they are. As the Vorax fleet approached, over 1,500 vessels of varying sizes, moving in perfect geometric formations, the human fleet seemed to scatter in apparent disarray. From the Novalian habitats, Elder Terrace watched with growing concern. What are they doing? They're breaking formation. Captain Reyes, who had remained with the Novalians to coordinate their defense, smiled. It's not disarray, Elder. It's controlled chaos, something the Vorax algorithmic minds struggle to process. The Vorax fleet entered the system like a metallic tide, their ships black and angular, moving with mechanical precision. As they advanced toward the orbital habitats, they encountered nothing. The human fleet had seemingly vanished. Then, without warning, dozens of small spatial distortions appeared throughout the Vorax formation. From these distortions emerged squadrons of Earth fighter craft, materializing inside the enemy's defensive perimeter. These nimble vessels immediately targeted the Vorax command ships, firing specialized EMP weapons that disrupted the hive mind connections. Quantum displacement technology, Reyes explained to the amazed Novalians. We can briefly shift small vessels into a parallel dimensional space, then bring them back precisely where we want them. As the Vorax formation fractured, trying to deal with the internal threat, the main human battleships appeared at the system's edge, having used the star's electromagnetic field to mask their signatures. They opened fire with devastating salvos that tore through the now disorganized Vorax vessels. The battle raged for hours. The Vorax, despite their superior numbers, struggled against humanity's unpredictable tactics and technological innovations. Human ships would appear suddenly, strike hard, then seemingly vanish, only to reappear elsewhere. Electronic warfare specialists flooded Vorax communications with contradictory commands. Specialized drones attached themselves to enemy vessels, reprogramming their navigation systems to cause collisions. But the Vorax were not easily defeated. As the battle progressed, they began to adapt, their collective intelligence analyzing patterns and developing countermeasures. Human casualties mounted as the Vorax focused their overwhelming firepower on key battleships. Admiral Commander Rodriguez reported grimly aboard the Everest, "We've lost the Intrepid and the Dauntless. The Jakarta is heavily damaged. The Vorax are adapting to our quantum displacement tactics." Admiral Jo's expression remained determined. "Then it's time for Phase 2. Signal all ships. Operation Sunforge is go." Throughout the battlefield, human vessels suddenly broke away from their engagements, repositioning themselves in a specific geometric pattern around the system's star. Specialized ships deployed massive energy collectors, drawing power directly from the star itself. "What are they doing?" Elder Terrace asked, watching the tactical display with Captain Reyes. "Something that's never been attempted outside of simulations," Reyes replied. "A synchronized gravitational lens." The human ships, precisely positioned, fired specialized beams into the star's corona. These beams, intersecting at calculated points, created a gravitational distortion that focused and amplified the star's natural energy output. The result was a controlled solar flare, directed precisely at the heart of the Vorax fleet. The blast of concentrated stellar energy washed over hundreds of Vorax vessels, overloading their systems and melting their hulls. Ships that weren't destroyed outright were left drifting, their collective neural networks fried. In the wake of this devastating attack, the remaining human vessels pressed their advantage, methodically eliminating Vorax stragglers. But the battle had taken its toll. Nearly a third of the human fleet was destroyed or severely damaged. As the fighting subsided, a massive Vorax vessel emerged from the darkness of space, nearly twice the size of the Everest. The Vorax mothership, the nexus of their hive mind. "All remaining ships, focus fire on that vessel," Admiral Zhao ordered. "Everything we've got." The human fleet converged, unleashing their remaining firepower. The mothership's defenses held initially, absorbing tremendous punishment while returning fire that crippled several more human vessels. Aboard the damaged Everest, Admiral Zhao made a fateful decision. "Prepare for ramming speed." Commander Rodriguez stared in disbelief. "Admiral, that's suicide." "Not necessarily," Zhao replied. "Have engineering prepare the dimensional displacement drive for overload. We're going to shift the Everest partially into quantum space with the mothership." The massive human flagship accelerated toward the Vorax mothership, its engines pushing beyond safe limits. The two behemoths collided in a spectacular display of energy and matter. But instead of conventional destruction, both ships partially phased out of normal space, caught between dimensions. "Evacuation protocols," Zhao ordered calmly. "All hands to escape pods." As the human crew abandoned ship, the Everest's dimensional drive continued its controlled overload, creating an expanding quantum disruption that engulfed the Vorax mothership. The disruption severed the connection between the mothership and the remaining Vorax vessels, sending chaotic commands through their network. Within minutes, the remnants of the Vorax fleet fell into disarray. Without the guiding intelligence of the mothership, individual ships began to drift aimlessly or engage in random, uncoordinated actions. Some even opened fire on each other. The human fleet, though badly damaged, methodically eliminated the remaining threats. As the final Vorax vessel was destroyed, a cheer went up across the comm channels. From the Novalian habitats, Elder Terrace and his people watched in awe. After 70 years of hiding and surviving, the nightmare was finally over. Recovery operations began immediately. Human medical ships docked with the Novalian habitats, providing much-needed supplies and assistance. Rescue teams retrieved survivors from damaged vessels, including Admiral Zhao and most of the Everest's crew. 2 weeks later, representatives from Earth and Novalia gathered aboard the ESS Concordia, now serving as the fleet's temporary flagship. Admiral Zhao, her arm in a sling but otherwise unharmed, stood alongside Elder Terrace. The Vorax threat in this sector has been neutralized, she announced to the assembled leaders. However, our long-range probes suggest other Vorax collectives exist in distant regions of space. This battle was significant, but the war may not be over. Elder Terrace's skin rippled with determined purple and gold. Then we will face it together. For too long, my people lived in fear, believing we were alone in our struggle. You have shown us otherwise. He turned to address the human representatives. The Novalian people offer a formal alliance with Earth. Our technologies, our resources, our knowledge, all will be shared freely with those who came when no one else would. Admiral Zhao nodded. Earth accepts your alliance with gratitude. Together, we will rebuild what was lost and prepare for any challenges that lie ahead. As the formal proceedings concluded, Captain Rice found herself standing with Elder Terrace, looking out at the stars. You know, she said thoughtfully, when we first received your signal, many thought it was too late to help. That after 70 years, there would be nothing left to save. Elder Terrace's skin shifted to a contemplative blue. And yet you came anyway. We came anyway, she agreed, because that's what humans do. We answer the call. The elder Novalian was quiet for a moment. There is an ancient saying among my people, in the darkest night, look to the stars, for help may come from beyond. His skin rippled with emotion. For generations, we thought it merely a comforting legend. Now we know better. In the days that followed, joint human Novalian teams began the monumental task of reclaiming the Novalian homeworld. The first Earth colony ships arrived, bringing scientists, engineers, and terraforming specialists. Plans were drawn up for a massive space station at the system's edge, a combined military and scientific outpost that would serve as the headquarters for the new alliance. And as news of the victory spread back to Earth, humanity looked to the stars with new purpose. They were no longer alone in the universe, and their first major interstellar action had not been conquest or colonization, but rescue and alliance. In answering a forgotten call that had echoed across 70 years of empty space, humanity had found not just new allies, but a new calling among the stars.